Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
And now,
it's 10 a.m.
let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Happy Thursday to everybody, however you may be consuming the show. Because I can't say listening anymore.
You don't think people are listening to the show anymore?
No, but you can watch it.
Oh. You also have to hear it. No one wants to watch it without the sound on.
I know, but you never say, I've got to go home and hear TV. You know what I mean? I got to go home and hear my favorite show on Hulu these days.
Okay.
It's a great point, honestly. No arguments here.
People do say I'm listening to the TV. Yes, they do. They say, like, I'm listening to the TV. It's on in the background. Or, like, as they're doing stuff,
but only when they're not watching it.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah, so watching takes precedent in the case of television.
Okay.
So if you're watching us on YouTube, you are technically listening, but you're also...
You think watching is all-encompassing?
I just think somehow
as far as the sensory experience goes.
Somehow it's it's taken priority over listening. Because, I mean, if you want to be completely accurate, you'd be like, I am watching and listening to Jake and Ben on YouTube, but nobody's going to say that. So watching somehow has taken the priority. I didn't make the rules, but it's true. You never say I watched and listened to Mary Poppins last night.
No, but do you think when random listener of ours, who we respect, I'm not trying to dismiss
or
you.
Watcher.
No. Has us up on YouTube at work or whatever, and Jake says something incredibly intelligent, just sparkling, and this listener of ours is talking to their spouse later that day and like, oh, I heard something funny on the radio. They didn't say, I watched the radio station on YouTube and this is what I watched.
I watched Jake say this. Yeah,
no, they don't. They say, I was listening to the radio because we're a radio station, even if you consume it on YouTube. And they then explain to their wife, wow, Jake had the greatest take I've ever heard about this. No, I heard him say this on the radio.
I hear you, but I don't think people say, if they do watch or listen on podcasts or watch on YouTube, I don't think they just blanket it with radio.
I think they do. But maybe you're right.
Do they really? I don't think so. That sounds like an old-timey thing.
And I do think a lot of the people who consume the show.
Yeah, consume's better.
Especially on YouTube, probably just pull it up on their work computer or whatever, and then have the audio turned down in their office. And, you know, I don't know if you're a tax guy or whatever you are. Maybe you're a mail delivery person. And, like, you're listening, and you might be listening through the app, but you might be watching it on YouTube. But you're just listening. And I don't think anyone says they're watching it.
Well, I don't get the whole watching thing anyway. I've like watching us do our buffoonery. But, you know, it is a thing. Like the YouTube podcast world is a thing. Like, I get it. I don't like it that people can see me. That makes me feel strangely self-conscious about scratching my nose.
Yeah.
And I feel like I smile too much when I shouldn't. Like if I'm making a subtle joke, I always give myself away by smiling.
Okay.
But I can deadpan it on the radio. Does that make any sense? So now with the YouTube, I can't really deadpan anything because I can't control my face.
Well, if you've never tried watching, dial it up today. Make it a part of your routine.
We have it at kslsports.com, or you can go to YouTube. You can see just how gaunt and thin Ben really is. Speaking of that, did you see the we were talking about it off the air in the producer's room. Did you see the picture of old Whit that was circulating yesterday?
Is he looking rough?
No, just shockingly thin.
Huh.
Now, it could have been the angle on the computer camera or whatever that he was looking into, but shockingly thin.
Okay.
Maybe the food in Michigan not agreeing with him? I don't know. And it's not like he's ever been a heavy guy, but you could look up the picture and you'd be like, whoa.
Is it this video?
I don't know what the video is.
Okay.
I just saw the still. Christian found it. Aren't you more internet savvy than me? How do I know about this?
Well, I'm Twitter searching it right now, and every photo looks like a hardy Kyle Whittingham.
No, he's got his glasses on, and it looks.
Yeah, it's got to be this one. It's got to be this video.
Yeah, that's it. Look how thin that dude looks.
He looks a little older.
It looks like his neck has gotten a lot thinner.
Yeah, he does look a little thinner. Maybe he's getting the jab.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know.
That was Jake's theory too.
That
Maybe
was
he's on
my theory.
Ozempic.
Which is fine, by the way. But I was pretty startled.
And that's also where you lose your weight. You know, a lot of people lose it immediately in their neck.
So
That's why Charles Barkley wears turtlenecks now. Maybe Witt's going to have to go to the turtleneck by opening season. Opening night.
Old Witt's looking thin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to. By the way, shout out to JP Chunga, filled in on the Jazz broadcast. All about Charles getting healthy. It's weird watching him. I don't know why. It's very strange watching him on the television. All right, we have lots to get to today. Spring football is ongoing. The Final Four is this weekend, and then the finals on Monday. And yes, Ben, we did have a Jazz game last night, and the Jazz did take another L. The Kings got a win, so we can talk about all that. But what was particularly relevant to you about the game last night?
Well, it was that the Kings won, and that actually really frustrated me. Because now, and we had talked about this, the question you had said, DJ had brought it up to PK yesterday morning was, does Will Hardy give his team the green light to go and win that game last night?
Or at least try.
And compete.
At least try.
And Flip did play in the fourth quarter, and Cody played in the fourth quarter, and Ace Bailey played in the fourth quarter. So, in a sense, they may have tried harder than they had in other games, but they were also down 15-12. They cut it to 8 a couple of times, but never made a real serious run at it, it felt like. But you did see more minutes from the traditional guys than you had in some recent games, and so by that sense, you may have said, yeah, Will Hardy let him kind of go out there and play for it. But more importantly was that with the Sacramento Kings winning last night, they beat the Toronto Raptors on the road. Pretty big surprise, in all honesty, especially after the Kings got hammered by the Brooklyn Nets, who can't beat anybody over the weekend. Sacramento now sits one win behind the Utah Jazz in the standings. And if they were to finish with identical records over at the end of the season, there's 5 games left to play for both teams, there would be essentially a coin toss that would guarantee the Jazz, if they win it, would hold on to their draft pick. And they'd move up to the 4th best odds to win the lottery instead of the 5th best odds. And they could only fall as far as 8 in the lottery if everybody jumped them, which again is why they'd be guaranteed to hold on to their pick, versus if they sit at 5, they could fall 4 spots and drop to 9, and then the pick would go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, as we've said a lot, the Jazz, if they stay at 5, which I still think is the most likely outcome, have only a 0.6% chance of losing it. 1 in 175 about odds of losing their draft pick if they stay at 5. But you see, okay, you're only 1 win away from Sacramento catching you, and then it's only a coin toss away from being guaranteed to hold on to the pick on draft night, and you get better lottery odds, and you don't have to worry about losing it. Makes me think that the Jazz are probably now going to go into these final 2 games of the season, because I'm assuming they lose their next 3 on the road. You can remind me where they are. I think they're at Houston.
New Orleans and Oklahoma City?
I think it's the other way around, but yeah. Houston. Maybe you're right, though.
No, OKC's on Easter.
Okay. So, yeah, they play tomorrow night in Houston, Sunday in Oklahoma City, and then Tuesday against the Pelicans. And then they come home and they play the Memphis Grizzlies on Friday. It's a week from tomorrow. And then they close the season a week from Sunday, a week from Easter, against the Los Angeles Lakers on the road, which, if it's all locked up, the Lakers aren't going to play anybody. But if the Jazz are still within one game of those teams or have not statistically eliminated their chance of jumping to 4 and are staying at 5, if they think that's still possible, I think the Jazz are going to try and lose those games because it benefits them, even if it's 0.6% chance. And every time I tweet about the Jazz's odds, I have somebody, or every time we mention it on the show, you facetiously, though the cameras pick up your lies, say that Adam Silver is not going to let the Jazz keep this pick. At a 0.6% chance, Adam Silver is going to take the pick from the Utah Jazz. So now that it is within one game, I think the Jazz are going to try and lose every game, which makes for a far worse product. It's what everybody hates about tanking. Instead of the Jazz just going out and saying, let's just see if we can crush the Memphis Grizzlies and crush the Los Angeles Lakers the last game of the season. Now, if the Kings win, I actually think it does change the last two. And ultimately, big picture, long term, doesn't matter in the slightest. But short term, my dumb brain just says, just go play hard. The shenanigans are annoying, and we've seen the shenanigans for 4 years, and I'm sick of it.
Oh, I'm totally sick of it. I hate this conversation. Sacramento finishes against New Orleans at home, the Clippers at home, at Golden State, home against Golden State, at Portland.
So with the shenanigans,
I don't know.
There is a chance for them to pick up a win. Just no question. If they can go beat Toronto.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
But the point is, I think the die is cast. This is what I hate about all of this. We're talking about a stupid 0.6 or something. It's so silly, it's almost not worth talking about. Yes, I make the jokes about Adam Silver will take the pick if there's a 0.6% chance, which I would honestly find hilarious if it happened. But if the NBA lottery has proved anything, rigged or not, it's that wild stuff happens and all these stupid conversations, as soon as the lottery happens, deemed to be absolutely worthless.
Go completely out the window.
Absolutely worthless. How much heartburn did everybody have last year about the Jazz finishing because they give themselves a point this and a point that, have to finish in the bottom 3? There was a coin toss last year.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
I mean, it didn't mean anything.
No,
it didn't mean anything. Dallas went from last to the dang number 1 pick.
Yeah.
San Antonio had the, third worst odds? 4th worst odds?
I can't remember where San Antonio jumped from, but they jumped
and they jumped again to the second. 4 teams.
Yeah.
4 teams. Jump everybody in the lottery. And all those conversations, all that heartburn about, they won in Brooklyn, which, of course, is the one you picked out last year to highlight the silliness of this whole thing. And it didn't, all that lost sleep, all of that. And I would even say, and I know the Jazz building over there is really in the weeds and in the day-to-day, and I understand it. It's their livelihood. But I guarantee a month from now, they'll look back and be like, Why did I lose sleep over that?
Yep.
It was just a random all for it.
Because to take it a step further is not only did the Jazz finish with the worst record last year and accomplish their goal, they had the absolute worst outcome on lottery night and then still had a guy drop to them who probably was supposed to go 3 overall. So even what you're trying to predict and think you could hold on to and say, well, we think X, Y, and Z is going to happen, the next step, which is the lottery, throws most of it out the window. And then what actually happens on draft night further disincentivizes what you're doing tonight.
What was that movie? Well, it's called just W, right?
Uh-huh.
The Oliver Stone movie about George W. Bush. And I have no idea if this is a factual scene, but there is a scene in the movie where, what's his name? The vice president, Dick Cheney, is trying to talk W into going to war. And he uses the example of, if I told you there was a 1% chance that lettuce on your sandwich was poisoned or something, would you eat the lettuce?
Uh-huh.
And then you see W take the lettuce off of the sandwich. That's no way to go through life.
Correct. Correct.
That's no way to go through life. If you calculated the risk of driving into work this morning, Ben, and actually looked at it and said, oh, man, there's a 2% chance I might not make it down to Broadcast House, you wouldn't leave your front door.
Right. Right.
You wouldn't leave your front door. Not arguing, that's not the right word. We're talking about the most minute of minute, unless you're like me and you truly believe it's rigged, and Adam Silver is absolutely going to screw them to the wall if he has any % chance of doing so. Unless you actually believe that, this is all a waste of time, and the Jazz should pour it on and beat Memphis. Go ahead. The die is basically cast, in my opinion. Sacramento, I don't know. They just beat Toronto on the road. They could get another win.
They could. Or they could get 2.
But Sacramento might be the worst franchise in NBA history, so they might lose out. I don't know. Why are you losing all the sleep? Because they're going to tie and split the odds? Vomit! I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of all of it. It doesn't matter anyway.
I'm totally with you. That's why the story of the night
Bryce Sensabaugh was awesome.
I'm totally with you. What happened last night with Sacramento was unfortunately the biggest story because it is going to dictate what happens over the next 5 games more than what is going to happen with the Utah Jazz, Bryce Sensabaugh, Kyle Filipowski, Cody Williams, Ace Bailey, yada, 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 all these players who are on the floor. And credit them. Those guys are out there doing what they can do. And I understand why the Jazz are doing what they're doing, but I'm with you. I hope by the time, and maybe I'm stressing myself out about what the final 2 games of the season are going to be because maybe by that point the Jazz have picked up another win, and if the Jazz pick up another win, I promise you they are going to take some of those last 2 games. But and maybe Dallas picks up a win, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I saw that last night, and I put my head in my hands, and I just thought oh man, where I thought that maybe there was only 3 more games of this, and honestly, at Houston, at Oklahoma City, you don't have to tank those games because those teams are just way better than you and competing for playoff spots, and they're going to be trying. Maybe against the Pelicans, you can't give it your all. I don't know. But I was thinking, at least the last 2 games, the Jazz can probably give it their all because Dallas has done their job to put the Jazz in such a safe space that they're not going to lose a pick. And then here comes the Sacramento Kings to set it all back up to incentivize losing.
I think, honestly, the most interesting thing about last night's game was why I love/hate Nikola Jokic. I mean, remember 2 games ago against Denver, Ben, the narrative was, the Jazz have figured out Jokic. His career has come to an end. You can guard him with a guard, and then you help with the big, and he can't do anything. And then it kind of worked the next time that they tried it. And then last night, Jokic, and this is where he's brilliant, he was like, all right, well, I'll just get 12 assists, and I'll just make sure Jamal Murray has it going, and I'll pick up 17 rebounds. I'll do my damage in the second half, and this thing is going to look easy. But then he's so bad moving laterally that it's just Kyle Filipowski lights him up every time they play.
Yep.
So how far is Jokic going to go? I don't know. I'm so over. I'm so over this team won and how many wins and stuck on this and 0.6 this and whatever. Tired of it.
I'm ready for the playoffs. I'm excited for the playoffs. Honestly,
people are picking Denver. Somebody can actually knock off Oklahoma City. Is that true?
I don't think so, not after what I've seen, and I don't think they're going to be able to flip the switch as they need to defensively, this late in the season. Who knows? Maybe they can. They've won a title before. But, I am, though, excited for the playoffs to get to what's real, what's not. Eliminate the what's not real.
Because if Phil is making Jokic look stupid, which he did over and over and over again, What's Chet going to do?
What's Wemby going to do?
What's Wemby going to do?
Yeah. And those two teams are probably going to meet each other, maybe in the second round. Denver's going to face either San Antonio or the Thunder in the second round. Like, they're going to have to get going quickly. If they get past the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round, if that's who they end up facing.
If the Thunder can get away with not playing Hartenstein and still being able to combat Nikola Jokic, they're going to cream them.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
And Kyle Filipowski deserves a lot of credit. I mean, they're trying not to play him because he's been too good. So he's only playing 31 minutes, and what was it the other night?
24.
24. And he's scoring with an incredible efficiency, and he's actually playing tough.
4 straight games with over 20 points. He's been really, really good.
He's played well enough that I think, and played tough enough that he can play big minutes on, not big minutes. Minutes as a big
yeah.
on a contending team. And I wouldn't have told you that was true before the season. And Will Hardy talked about it, and I know you were there. Was it pregame or postgame where he was talking about Phil's position? I think it was postgame because he was talking about Sheboy. Let's play it if we've got it. Hit it.
Our fives this season have not been healthy for a lot of the year. I mean, we lost Walker very early in the year. Lately, with Nurk going down, it's forcing Kyle to play more 5 than would be desirable. I think in moments of a game or against certain matchups, Kyle can be a 5, stretch the court, change the concept that we're playing with, change how we're being guarded. But Kyle is not 30 minutes a night 5.
No, but he might be 10 minutes a night 5. He might be 15 minutes a night 5. He might be a good enough 5 that you can wrong foot the other team. And then if he can play a little bit at what was traditionally the 4, what is basically a wing, and be good enough defensively, then you've got yourself a stew going. You've got yourself a guy you can use.
If he can play 15 minutes a night, going into what will be year 3 now, and continue to play bigger and he becomes a very valuable player. His last 4 games, someone didn't check my Twitter account last night, Christian. His last 4 games, he's averaging 24 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.3 steals. He's shooting 64% from the floor and 44% from 3. Now, again, these late season stats just don't matter in the slightest because it's all shenanigans. It's all fake out there.
Honestly, nor does his offense that much. His offense is always good enough.
But yeah, he's certainly locking up his he's got a non-guaranteed contract this offseason. Like, he is not guaranteed to be back next year. He will be picked up, though. Clearly, he's just playing exceptionally well. He's proven that he's worth investing in. And then, he's a backup. I mean, he's your 4th or 5th big, and that's a really good player to have as a second-round pick. That's a hit. You hit on that guy. And maybe it doesn't mean he's a long-term piece, but he can be around.
So when Oklahoma City's getting ready to play Denver, pop in that Phil tape. See Phil take him to school. Say, what's Phil doing?
Yeah.
What do we need to do here? Lit him up.
He did.
2 games in a row.
It's a weirdly kind of awkward matchup for Jokic. Now, Jokic is fine because he says, well, I'll go account for 35 points on the other end because I'm going to get, 14 points and 12 assists and whatever.
I love it about him that he doesn't have to take 20 shots if it's not.
Yeah,
if the game doesn't hand him 20 shots,
but
he's
you know
all
what?
right, I'll get somebody else.
If you say we're going to face guard Jamal Murray the whole game, he'll go put 50 on you.
Yep.
I mean, Jokic is...
I love that about him.
He's maybe the best offensive player I've ever seen.
If he wasn't such a stiff on the defensive end, he would be my favorite player in the league.
Oh, if he could move defensively, he's probably the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, right.
I mean, in all honesty. By the way, what I'm ribbing Christian about is that Bez Mbang signed a new contract today, as announced by Shams Charania, which was news that I broke last night. Scooped Shams.
Way to go, Ben.
Take that, Shams.
And, I mean, Bez might be the biggest signing of the day.
It's probably the only, I'd imagine.
I wasn't going to add that.
It's a rest of season contract. It's technically a 2-year non-guaranteed deal.
It's so he can go to Summer League.
You go to Summer League, you'll be a part of training camp if the Jazz think he's worthwhile. But they need bodies. It's the truth. They just need bodies for the rest of the season. But what's cool for him is, like, those G League guys make $45,000 a year.
Yeah.
And a 10-day, I think, is worth about 80. And then your second 10 days worth about 80. And now he's signed on an actual rookie deal, so he has to get paid per game, which is like another, it's like $15,000 a game. So he's going to make another 70. So over these final month of the season, he's going to make $200,000, quadrupling what his, more than quadrupling what his salary was in the G League. So
great
good for him.
Great, Ben. You just took our number 1 story of the day at KSLSports.com and and blew it. So we'll
now what?
We'll reshuffle.
Now what are we gonna do?
I don't know what's coming up
Re-rack
next.
Kyle Whittingham's thin neck.
We could put the thin neck at number 1.
Is Whit ill? Question mark. 2 million clicks.
Stay tuned. More next. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.